know what's crazy is that people be in jobs that they hate and they know they gotta leave, but won't make the jump. They won't make it happen. And if you guys have seen my videos, I continuously talk about warehouse jobs and how miserable they are and how soul-sucking those jobs are. Even some office jobs are like that too. I don't feel like that with some office jobs, but when it comes to warehouse work, where you're physically putting your body through BS and you just feel like you can't go anywhere, like I understand that feeling. So if that's you can get out of it. Like you have to understand, you have like opportunity that a lot of other people don't have. Especially here, like I'm not saying like, oh yeah, this is like, you know, this is the best country, you know, you can't do anything else. Sorry guys, bumpy road. But you gotta understand, you're not stuck just doing warehouse work. You probably have abilities that you don't showcase, and you're kind of wasting your time, wasting your potential at a warehouse job, right? And I remember something my pops told me that always stuck with me, like, because I'm bilingual, right? So I speak English and Spanish. And damn, this road is horrible. And I remember he told me, he's like, you know, those warehouse jobs are for people who are just starting off. You shouldn't be here at the level that you're trying to get to. And like, I'm not trying to say like, you know, I am this big freaking whatever, right? But he was just saying like, you're capable of more. And I have to tell myself that, because I'm over here working at a warehouse job that I'm not happy at. But at the time, I'm like, oh, this pays really good. Like, you know, I think I can, you know, make some good money and then just, you know, leave after a couple of years, right? And that was the plan. But these plans never actually, like, happen the way we try to plan them out to be. They never turn out that way, right? So if you're stuck at a warehouse job, like, understand that there's more to life than working at the warehouse job. You wake up every morning and you hate what you do. You know, you take the longest time to get up. You hit snooze 5, 6, 7 times. Just, you gotta understand the signs of being unhappy. Some people don't realize it, and it's kind of sad. I was in that case. I didn't realize how unhappy I was at that job. And it doesn't matter how good people are or how cool your manager is, and oh, I love doing this for, like, no, if you're feeling the way you're feeling and it's just like making you sad, making you feel down, making you feel like you're never gonna leave the job, or you're afraid to leave the job, you need to leave the job. You need to change. You need to just take that jump. That was for the longest time. I would literally dread being at work, not every single day, but a lot of days where, like, the typical issues that I know are going to come up, which they don't come up every day, but at that job, it'd be like miscommunication, for example, with our office and the customer. That would always bother me, and anytime that would happen, I'd instantly get put in that mindset, in that bad mood of, damn, I need to leave this place. Like, this is causing me stress that I don't need, right? I'm taking on stress as if I own the place, when in reality, you could simply just leave, because it's not your business. It's not your company. You can leave. You can put in your 2 weeks, or if you're bold enough, you could just quit, right? I personally would not just up and leave a job. I try to give 2, maybe 3 weeks, but hey, not everyone's perfect, right? Sometimes we just got to leave a job if it's not for you, or if it's not what you signed up for. I remember the one time I did leave after a day. I didn't even start yet, but it was actually, so if you guys have ever heard of multi-level marketing, right? MLM, or network marketing. There's this knife company that you've probably heard of called, I think it's Costco or something like that. It's Costco Knives. And the job description was one thing, but when I went there, it was literally just a pitch, right? It was a pitch to join, and they did have a thing where you get paid hourly, but you had to, I forget what it was. You had to set a certain amount of appointments, and when those appointments are set, then you would get paid. I think it was, at the time, it was decent. It was like 23, 25 an hour, something like that, but you only get paid for the time that you're booked, right? So an appointment over there would last anywhere from like an hour, like 45 minutes to an hour, I'm assuming. And when I started to get wind of, oh, this is not really like an actual job, it's just a sales position, which I don't have a problem with, especially at that time. This was over like 8-9 years ago. I don't have a problem, but when companies are like intentionally deceptive about what the job is, and they're not truthful about, the description of the job or what your responsibilities are, that's a bad sign. That just means that, okay, if they're lying about this, they're probably going to lie about other things. So that was just my mindset with that. But yeah, it was essentially just a sales position, and you get paid, I guess, a guaranteed hourly, or I forget what the deal was, but it wasn't what they were saying it was. That's the only time I, kind of mentally checked out. It was kind of bad too, because they called, like, I still had the good attitude. They called me in and said, it was me and like a couple other people. You guys are like, I kind of saw you guys as like, leaders, and I appreciate you guys coming out. And this lady chose a select number of people. So like, the training was done for the day, and then like 5 or 6 of us were called in as like potential leaders, and like, oh yeah, see a lot of potential in you guys, blah blah blah. In my mind, I'm like, I'm not doing this. Like, this is not even what the job description was. And I felt lied to. So that was the only time I did one. I stayed there, and then I just left right after. So that's the only time I ever left after one moment. But yeah, I always try to give 2-3 weeks at most jobs. But yeah, let me turn these off. But yeah, guys, if you're feeling stuck, man, like, it's not the end of the world, or it's not the end of the road, right? You still have opportunity to grow, but you gotta remember, like, you have skill, right? You just have to find out what that skill is. Everyone has something that they're good at. You just got to figure out what that thing is. Don't be like me and waste 5 years at a warehouse job when you can easily find better, right? I stayed 5 years at the warehouse job when I should have only stayed for around 2 years. Because I noticed after that point, just things started to get stagnant. When things get stagnant, you're either progressing forward or you're digressing, or you're going backwards, right? I don't know what the word is, but you're either going forward or going backwards. What the heck? This dude almost got hit by a car. Yeah. So as long as you're improving, you're good. But once you're at that stagnant spot, you either have 2 places to go. You're either gonna go up or you're gonna go down. And once you're starting to go down, you need to leave, right? Examples of going down at a job place is the job's getting stressful. The job is, you're taking the job home with you, where it's like you're stressing about job at home when you're not even on the clock. You are, what's the word? If you have negative dreams about a job, that could be a sign too. I remember when I used to work at the restaurant way back when, it was like 2015, 2014. And I just didn't want to do serving anymore. I just looked at it as like, I always ask myself, whatever job I'm working at, am I proud to be at that job? And like, you shouldn't worry about what other people think, but to yourself, what does that sound like to yourself? And to me, I didn't like that. I don't like being, if I'm ever being talked about or anything, oh, what do they do? Oh, they just do tables. It's like, it's not really anything to be like proud of. You know what I mean? for me at that time. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because if I could go back, I would love to. I just don't like going back to things that I've already done. I never returned to a job. There was one time though, because I did. The manager was really good to me. You know, at that restaurant, he let me use my vacation time as one of my 2 weeks. So I put in my 2 weeks there. Guys, you are not stuck at a warehouse job. You don't have to stay longer than you have to. There's so much opportunity out there, right? And everyone can say, you know, the job market's tough right now. It's hard to find a job. But in reality, like, there are job openings. When you go on Indeed or Glassdoor or any of those platforms to look to apply to jobs, I will say there are companies that just put out job postings just to put them out there. It could have to do with some sort of funding or different stuff like that. So not all the jobs are like legitimate. Not all of them are like actual real jobs. They're just postings just to post. So when you go on there, you know, put your resume out there. That's fine. But at the same time, keep in mind that some of the job postings aren't actual job postings. So there's always opportunity out there. There's even gig work that you can do in the meantime while you're trying to get your funds ready to leave your current job, right? If you're not happy, you can still plan on leaving. You can still think of a plan to get yourself out of the situation that you're currently in, right? But never stay complacent or stuck at a job, because there's so many jobs out there. There's so much opportunity just to waste it at a place that you don't like, right? And there's some signs too that I've noticed that once you notice these things, and I have a video that goes more in depth about that, but there's certain things about every single job, or that could possibly arise at every single job, that you can kind of use these tips to help you identify what these things are, right? And the first one is, if they're giving you tasks just to keep you busy, it's probably time to leave. What that means is, you know, when they give you a task just to try to keep you busy, that means that they don't really value what you're doing. They need a body to do something, right? Because you're still getting paid hourly and they didn't give you enough work. So they're going to give you stuff that's out of your job scope or that doesn't pertain to you for you to do. Now, if you're at a cool like job, like when I was at that flooring warehouse, you know, he did allow people to leave if they wanted to, and luckily I had gigs that I can do on the side if I were to leave early. There were a lot of times where maybe there weren't enough orders that day at the job, so he would say, hey, if you want to take the rest of the day and clock out now, that's fine. And I did it because, I didn't want to be there if there was no work, and also it saves them money. It saves the owner money. That was my mindset, right? But you know, the job, the reason why I left that job is because I felt like I had nowhere else to grow. That's the second sign. If you feel like, or if you don't even see anywhere else, or don't have interest in any of the positions that are at that business or company, then why are you there? The main goal is to try to advance as high as you can, to achieve whatever goal it is that you're trying to achieve. So if you want to be, let's say, a supervisor at maybe this, I don't know, nuclear plant or something, right? But you start off there as like maybe tier 2, but you're trying to get to a tier 5, then there you go. That's a sign right there that you need to put in work and you need to go get what you're gonna get, right? But if, oh my God, that's smart. Never seen a cop in a pickup truck. But anyways, that's a sign, right? Oh, is he getting this guy? Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera, but no, he's going around this guy. What a dumbass. Anyways, but yeah, guys, those are 2 signs. A third sign is, it kind of has to do with the first, right? If you have suggestions, and this is my experience. I'm not just talking just to talk, like, this is my experience, right? I've had ideas in the past that could potentially improve the company or could potentially add value to the company. And when I bring them up, because I started at level 2 in my case, and I already achieved level 4, which there are like 6 levels at this company. I achieved level 4. Level 6 is the owner. Level 5 are like the supervisors. So I got to the manager level. But the thing was, I would make suggestions that would improve the company, and they would be implemented by someone else who brought up that same idea. So once I noticed that my opinion wasn't being valued the same as someone else, that's when I knew it was time to leave, right? And you'll notice those things at your job, right? Especially if you start at a certain level and maybe you got promoted over the months or years, you'll notice that, right? And it's like a natural thing. Like, I've worked at places where even my second job ever, when I was at a restaurant, I didn't move up, well, I did move up actually, but before I moved up, someone else moved up before me, and they did the same thing as I did, and they upgraded to like doing the grill, or and this is like a restaurant where, like, it's Burton's Grill, right? If you ever heard of that place, that's what it is. But they got to work on like near the cooking area, but they would still look that as a dishwasher because that's where they came from. So that's just an example. Like, doesn't matter how far you advance, there's just companies that still look at you at the same position as when you entered that company. So once you notice that, it's probably time to find something else, because that's the best way to kind of reset how they view you, how people view you. And that shouldn't be as important. I wish it really wasn't, but it is, right? So you got to do what you can to protect your image. So if you got to go, you got to go, right? But you're not stuck, guys. So if you're watching this and you're feeling like you're stuck, you're not stuck. You just got to go out and get something, find something, chase something. But yeah, hopefully you guys got something out of this video. I just wanted to put that out there because I know when I was in the warehouse jobs, I literally had that mindset of just like, damn, like, this is literally like draining my soul. Like, I feel like I'm wasting my time. Yeah, you're getting paid, but it's not fulfilling work, right? Try to get to a point where you're working something that you actually enjoy, right? But I'll end it there, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you got something from this video, and I'll catch you guys later.